Back at 'em. You have your coffee, I have my coffee. I want to talk about a couple of books that I'm really excited to dive into this week, because one of my New Year's resolutions for reading this year was to read more books that have to do with my own culture, my own heritage. I feel like I do a really good job at diversifying my reading through looking outside of just white authors and white cis experiences. And so one of the things that I wanted to get into this year was more about me. So I wanted to get more into Hispanic literature, specifically like Mexican American literature, and one of the challenges was trying to pick stuff that was not fiction. And so in January, I've actually been in really like a nonfiction kind of mood, so I'm like riding that wave as much as I can. So I wanted to talk to you about two books I went and picked up from my local library that I'm so excited to get to. The first book I have with me because I've started it already, and then the other book is at home. So I'll show you a picture of it. So the first book is Educating the Enemy by Jonna Perillo, and it is teaching Nazis and Mexicans in the Cold War borderlands. Before I get into this, can I talk about how difficult it was to get these books? Like, my library said online, we have them. Spent like 40 minutes looking through the shelves, and then I realized they were part of a Border Southwest collection. So I was like, where is the table? You know, like, where is the section? I was looking everywhere until I could finally find somebody to ask, and she led me through like these three hallways to get to these books where they had all of them kind of like in their own separate room. So that was kind of difficult. Okay, so this book in particular is so interesting. It caught my attention right away. It's 216 pages. I actually think it's less than that. There's a pretty hefty note section and abbreviation, and there's like acknowledgement. So really the book in itself, at the end of the epilogue, 149 pages. So this book is about, it's looking at children in schools in this Cold War era, right? And so what happened is that they had this big group of Nazi scientists that were relocated to the United States, and they were offered like an opportunity to work here for us in exchange for like being here, right, after everything had fallen out. And those scientists were put to work on our nuclear program. But so their kids ended up coming to school in El Paso, Texas. And the author differentiates between the children of those scientists against the treatment of Mexican American kids who were going to school in El Paso at the same time. And kind of that concept that our actual own kids, these Mexican American children, were treated as less American, and more foreign than actual foreign kids. Like, the group of German kids were accepted with like open arms. They were seen like they have so much potential, so much to offer us. And on the other side of things, we were seeing like so many Mexican American children be discriminated against, punished because they spoke Spanish, and other like racist practices like that. And so this just intrigued me right off the bat. I picked it up. I've already started it and started to kind of like highlight some things in it. It says it shows that Anglo El Pasoans' quick identification of the paperclip children as people like themselves, which is to say as white people and potential compatriots, says much about what kinds of people and ideas seemed most foreign or most redeemable to Americans. An important note is that she puts like teaching Nazis in referring to the children. I've chosen to use Nazi rather than German for different reasons. So first, not all Germans were Nazis, but all of these families were brought because of their service and advancement to the Third Reich. Second, Americans quickly dropped the term Nazis for Germans in reference to the entire paperclip community. Multiple reasons, including deflection. And third, German simply does not invoke the white supremacist project that this actually was. So I'm really excited to get into this. I'm hoping to be done by the end of the week. So yeah, this one. The other book, and I'll put a picture here right now because I don't have it with me, it's at home, is All They Will Call You by Tim Hernandez. And this book is about 240 pages long. It's also a little bit short. It is about an airplane disaster that happened in California that killed the people on board, 32 people on board, but 28 of those people were Mexican immigrants who were I think they were in the process of being deported back to Mexico. It's kind of like reclaiming that story, because at the time it was very easy for people to overlook the names and experiences and lives of these people that died in this crash, and they were like even I think buried as like Mexican nationals, so like covered under this guise of anonymity, forgetting the fact that we actually lost real people in that accident. The author does intense research, just very investigative work into this experience, and puts together like the historical accounts, like eyewitness accounts and everything. So I'm really excited to learn more about this and learn more about those people. I think that this accident actually inspired a Woody Guthrie song as well called Deportee. The reason I picked up this one specifically is because it makes me think about how easy it is for us to generalize an immigrant experience and write it off as something that's not that important. So for example, like I think it was over a year, 2 years ago in San Antonio, where they found like dozens of deceased immigrants in the back of a trailer. And that was so sad, and the way that it was just generalized and looked over. And I remember I sat with that for a long time and just thinking like every single one of those people had a story, like they had a family, they had dreams, they had hopes, like, and the way that the media politicized it, wrapped it up, moved it all along. And even in the city of Juarez, where recently last year a jail caught on fire while there were immigrants detained inside, and a lot of people perished in that fire. And again, like a good group of people that died, that sacrificed a lot to be here. We don't know their full story, and they were kind of like glazed over in a sense, and especially because they were men. And so I think that just shedding a light on these experiences is so important. So I'm really excited to get into that one. I think that's it for now. I don't have any other ones, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.